The vice president was asked about all of this. How does a 5-year-old end up getting detained today? And here's what he said about it. So here's the other side, so to speak, of Vice President Vance.
When they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all. But if we had a little cooperation from local and from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
All right, Mayor Hodges, how do you see this story from what you know about it?
Listen, J.D. Vance can couch this however he wants, but clearly the White House and the administration did not anticipate what they are finding from the people of Minnesota. I think they thought they'd get a red carpet rolled out for them, maybe because of this supposed majority they have in the country, but Trump has never had a majority. And this is what it looks like when the majority of America who disagrees with these policies come face to face with them in their community. That, you know, if there's authoritarianism in one part of your country, there is authoritarianism in your entire country, whether you're in Davenport, Iowa, whether you're in Chesterfield, Virginia, wherever you find yourself. So this is an administration that's flailing, trying to, you know, backstop its reasons for being there. But the rule of law is not a technicality. It is the bright line between democracy and dictatorship. And they are on the other side of that line.
What about the warrants, this back and forth over warrants? And, you know, the vice president, he claims today all you need is an administrative warrant, what he described as an administrative warrant to come into someone's house. We had a lawyer on and said, no, you need a little bit more than that earlier. You know, you need a judicial warrant signed by a judge. But that, you know, it has been the latest debate over the Fourth Amendment. So what have you thought about the way that's kind of unfolded in the last day or two?
I'm not an attorney. I'm just, you know, I'm a regular American person who lives here and has, you know, believes in the Constitution. And from what I can see, the Trump administration is not concerned with the Constitution in any way, except for perhaps the Second Amendment. And so, you know, so far they have really made it clear that they want to intimidate and scare Americans. They want to intimidate and scare anybody in America into confusion, into feeling isolated and alone. That is a standard authoritarian tactic that is used and that they are using. But they did not bank on the resolve, the stubbornness, and the courage of Minnesotans who are meeting them with songs and feeding their neighbors. They don't know what to do in the face of such compassion and such neighborliness. They don't have a frame of reference for it.
Should, could, or maybe even would, if you were still mayor, should the local authorities be doing a little bit more to cooperate, because that would be in the best interests of their constituents, whether it's a 5-year-old child who maybe would be better off with local cops or other people that are protesting that might want to see the local cops, or not even protesting or afraid of being detained by ICE, might want to see their local officials. That's what the vice president was essentially arguing today. You know, it's been interesting because it's come up on our network. Like the current mayor, Jacob Fry, was on with my colleague Chris Cuomo on his show last night, and the interview was taped before the show, but it was interesting because Fry found out, like during the interview, that Vance was coming and he wasn't invited to meet with them. So Vance didn't go out there and meet with them, but he did say he's not getting cooperation from him. So how do you see that as someone who was mayor?
I think, you know, Vance is interested in Minneapolis, you know, from the officials down to the neighborhoods, bending a knee. I think that's what he expects and that's what he wants. And I think he's not interested in cooperation. He's interested in submission. But he can take a seat. He can take a settee. He can just sit back, because people of Minneapolis know when tyranny is bashing down the door of its neighbors, and they are responding by saying, no, not in our community, not in Minneapolis, not in Minnesota. We are here with and for each other as neighbors. You know, J.D. Vance can want everybody to do exactly what he says, but when the Constitution, when the democracy of America is at stake, the people of Minnesota are rising to the occasion.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.